Hi, today we're looking at Functional Skills Maths Level 1. This is the Training Qualifications UK exam board. We've got examination past paper 7. We're going to start with the non-calculator section. Question 1. Work out 7 squared. Well, the squared means multiplied by itself. So this is 7 times 7. So we've got 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 49. And remember, if you can't remember your times table, you can just count on 7, then count on another 7, and keep going, and eventually you should get up to 49. Question 2. Work out 3,846 divided by 100. So our 3,846. We're dividing, so we're making the number smaller. And we've got 2 zeros. We're going to move our decimal point from the end of the number once, twice into here. So we end up with 38.46. Question 3. Work out 2.28 plus 1.11. So I'm going to write these as a column, one on top of the other. Remember to line up the decimal points. So we've got the 1 here and the 0.11 there. This is a plus. So start from the right hand side. 8 plus 1 is 9. 2 plus 1 is 3. Keep the decimal point lined up, and 2 plus 1 is 3. So we get an answer of 3.39. Question 4. Round 3.147 to 2 decimal places. Well, these are the 2 decimal places, first decimal place, second decimal place. So we look at the digit that comes after that. If it's less than 5, we just keep it as 3.14. If it's 5 or more, we need to add 1 onto this. So this becomes 3.15. So we're rounding it up. Okay, question 5. How many minutes are there in 2.5 hours? Okay, well, 2.5, you can think of that as 2.5 hours. The 0.5. Well, I know in 1 hour we've got 60 minutes. In the second hour we'd have another 60 minutes. Then we want half an hour, so we want half of 60. Well, what's half of 60? 60 divided by 2. Well, 2 goes into 6. 2, 4, 6, 3 times, and 2 goes into 0, 0 times. So we've got 30 minutes in half an hour. So we're adding 2 hours and 30 minutes. Add these all up, we get 0 plus 0 plus 0 is 0. 6 plus 6 is 12, plus 3 is 15. So we've got a total of 150 minutes. Question 6. Decrease 600 by 25%. Okay, so we're going to work out what 25% of this is and then take it off. Well, 25%, we can do it a few ways. We can think, well, 25% is a quarter. So that's one way of doing it. So this is a quarter. So we can do a quarter of 600. Or in other words, 600 divided by 4. So 4 goes into 6 once, with 2 remainder. 4 goes into 20. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. That's 5 times. And 4 goes into 0, 0 times. So 25%, or a quarter of 600, is 150. We want to decrease it by that amount. So we want our original 600 minus 150. So 0 minus 0 is 0. 0 minus 5 we can't do because 5 is bigger than 0. So reduce the 6 by 1 and give the 1 here to become 10. So 10 minus 5 is 5. 5 minus 1 is 4. So we've got an answer of 450. Question 7 now. Work out the mean of these numbers. Well, the mean is equal to the total divided by the frequency, or how many we've got. So for the total, we need to add these all up. So 1,250, 8,500, 9,000, 1,250 and 6,000. Lots of zeros, still zeros. 5 plus 0 plus 0 plus 5 plus 0. So we've got 5 plus 5 is 10 and a load of zeros. So 0 carry the 1. 2 plus 5 is 7 plus 0 is still 7 plus 2 is 9, still 9, plus the 1 carried is 10. 1 plus 8 is 9, plus another 9 is 18, plus 1 is 19, plus 6 is 25, and plus 1 here makes it 26. So we've got 26,000. So that's our total. And the frequency, well, how many have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers. So let's do this using the bus stop method. 5 into 2, well 5 can't divide into 2 because it's bigger than it. So what about 5 into 26? We've got 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. That's 5 times and 1 left over. 5 into 10, 5, 10 goes twice. 5 into 0 goes 0 times. 5 into 0 goes 0 times. So we get an answer of 5,200. And we can do a bit of a check because the mean should be somewhere in the middle of these numbers. Well, the smallest numbers we've got are 1,250. The biggest number is 9,000. So 5,200, that's somewhere in between there. That seems reasonable. Question 8. Taraji needs 1,800 millimeters of wood to make a large window frame. Taraji buys 18 meters of wood. Has Taraji bought the exact amount of wood needed to make the frame? Show how you decide. So we've got millimeters here, we've got meters here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert my meters into millimeters and see if we end up with the same number. Well, my starting point is that there are 100 centimeters in 1 meter. So if we do 18 times 100, it's going to be my measurement in centimeters. So multiplying by 100, so making the number bigger by 2 zeros. So we've got 1,800 centimeters. But we want 1,800 millimeters, or at least that's what Taraji needs. So let's continue converting till we get them in the same units. So I know that there are 10 millimeters in 1 centimeter. So if we want this in millimeters, we're going to need to multiply it by 10. So 1,800 times 10, add a 0 on. So we get 18,000 millimeters. Well, 18,000 millimeters is not equal to 1,800 millimeters. So has Taraji bought the exact amount of wood needed to make the frame? No, they haven't. So they've probably got something wrong with their conversion, probably forgotten to do the centimetres to millimetre step. Question 9. Lee sells t-shirts. Lee buys the t-shirts in packs of 10 for £80. Lee wants to make 20% profit from selling each t-shirt. How much should Lee sell each t-shirt for? Okay, so what we want to do is, well, we want to add on the profit to work out the price including the profit, but we're only interested in the price of one t-shirt. So we can do it in two ways. We can work out the price for one t-shirt first and then add the profit on. Or we can add the profit onto all 10 t-shirts and then divide by 10 to find one t-shirt. Doesn't really matter too much. I'm going to work out the 20% profit first. So if we want 20%, well, I'm going to think of 20% as 10% plus 10%. And the reason I'm doing that is because I know that if I want 10% of £80, I just take the 0 off. So if I want 20% of £80, well, it's going to be 2 lots of that multiplied by 2, or 8 plus 8, which is going to give me £16. Okay, so that's the profit. So the cost of the t-shirts plus the profit will be 80 plus 16. Well, 0 plus 6 is 6. 8 plus 1 is 9. So we've got £96. That's for 10 t-shirts. We want just one t-shirt. So we want to divide this by 10. So if we've got 96 divided by 10, we've got our decimal point here. We're going to move it one place into here. So we're going to have £9.6. But when it's pounds and pence, we want 2 decimal places, so we're going to make it £9.60. And that's our answer there. And that's the end of the non-calculator section. And now for the calculator section. Question 1. How many grams are in 4.2 kilograms? Well, I know that we've got 1,000 grams in 1 kilogram. So if we've got 4.2 kilograms, we need to multiply that by 1,000 to get up to grams. Now, we can start with the 4.2. We're multiplying by 1,000, so we've got 3 zeros. So making it bigger, and we're doing that by moving the decimal point once, twice, 3 times, once for each of the zeros. Then we can fill in the zeros here. So we've now got 4,200 grams. Question 2. Write 66% as a decimal. So to turn it into a decimal, we're going to divide it by 100. 66%, so out of 100. So again, if we think our decimal point is at the end, we're dividing it by 100, so we're going to make it smaller. So we're going to move the decimal point to the left, once for each zero, once, twice. Decimal points there, 0 at the beginning, and we've got 0.66. Question 3. Liam has some cards with shapes on. So we've got 5 different cards there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One card is chosen at random. What is the probability that a card with a cross like this is chosen? Give your answer as a fraction and mark your probability on the scale. Well, so let's work out the probability first of all. Well, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. So we're going to do it out of 5. How many of them have got this shape? We've got 1, 2, So the probability is 2 out of 5, or 2/5. They've asked us to give the answer as a fraction, which we've done, and mark your probability on the scale. So, well, let's put our answer in the box first of all. So this is our 2/5. We want to mark it on the scale. Well, if we look at this probability scale here, we've got 0, we've got 1, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections, which ties up with this being in fifths. So this would be 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, and 5/5, or 1. So 2/5 is going to be here, so I'll mark it with a cross and I'll write 2/5 on there. Question 4. The map shows the location of 3 buildings within a town. Kai thinks that the library is less than 500 metres from the cinema. And the question down here, is Kai correct? So if we have it like this, we can see it all on the map. Okay, so we've got the library, we've got the cinema, we've got the shopping centre. And we're told the map is drawn to scale with 1 centimetre representing 100 metres. So if it's just scale, what we want to do here is to get our ruler. And we're talking about the library and the cinema. Well, the library to the cinema, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 centimetres. And I would say that's probably just over, so that's 5.1 centimetres, I would say. Now remember, if you are comparing this with the mark scheme, the actual exam might be printed out a slightly different size, so it might not tie up exactly, but according to what we've got here, we've got 5.1 centimetres. Now every 1 centimetre represents 100 metres. So we need to multiply this by 100. And that's now going to be in metres. So we've got 510 metres, and Kai thinks the library is less than 500. Well, actually 510, that's more than 500 metres. So is Kai correct? No. If you did measure this out on a full scale, I think that comes closer to 5.2 centimetres. So you'd end up with 520 metres. Either way, you're still going to get the same conclusion. No, Kai's not correct. Question 5. The price of a dress is £54. In a sale, the price is reduced by 15%. Work out the reduced price of the dress. Okay, well, we can work out 15%, so 15 out of 100, of, which means times 54. So 15 divided by 100 times 54 gives us 8.1, or in money, that would be £8.10. We need to reduce it by this amount, so we want £54 minus £8.10. So 54 minus 8.1, or 8. Doesn't matter if you put the 0 on the end because it's after a decimal point. And we end up with 45.9, but to turn it into money, we need to make that £45.90. We can write that in our answer box here. Okay. Question 6. Morgan is planning a party and looks at reviews for 2 different venues. 7/8 of the total number of reviewers recommend venue A. 4/5 of the total number of reviewers recommend venue B. Morgan wants to book the venue with the highest proportion of recommendations. Which venue should Morgan book? Now this can be a bit confusing sometimes because we haven't got an actual number of people. We're just trying to compare 7/8 with 4/5. So a nice way to do it is to convert them into either decimals or maybe even easier into percentages. So to convert them into percentages, we're going to do 7 divided by 8 and then multiply by 100. So if we do that, we get 87.5%. So if we do the same for venue B, 4/5 of 4 divided by 5 times 100. We get 80%. So now it's easy to see, well, 87.5 is greater than 80. So which venue is going to be venue A? Question 7. A teacher records the number of pupils attending an after-school club each week for 16 weeks. Use the data to complete the grouped frequency table. So these are the number of pupils in each of the 16 weeks. Let's just check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yes. And we're trying to work out the frequency. So for each of these groups, we want to know how many of these we've got. So how many pupils are between, or how many times have we got a number which is between 10 and 15? So we've got 1, 2, 3. Between 16 and 20, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Between 21 and 25, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And between 26 and 30, these should be whatever we've got left that we haven't crossed off. So we've got 1, 2. And if we want to do a check, all of these should add back up to 16. So 3 plus 4 plus 7 plus 2, 16. So we've done a little check there as well. We weren't asked to do the check, but it didn't take long, and it's nice to give us a bit of reassurance in the exam that we know we've got our 2 marks. Question 8. Riley pays £10,050 into a new savings account. I'm going to write that into digits straight away. So 10,050. Okay. The savings account pays 5% interest per year. What will the total amount of money in the savings account, or what will be the total amount of money in the savings account at the end of the first year? So we want to add 5% to that. So 5%, we're going to do 5 out of 100 times the original amount. 5 divided by 100 times 10,000, 10,050. So we get 502.5 or £502.50. We want the total amount at the end of the year, so we need to add that on to the original 10,050. And if we do that, we get 10,552.5, but because it's money, that's going to be £10,552.50. Question 9. Ola lives in London and is going on holiday to New York. The current temperature in New York is 59 degrees Fahrenheit. The current temperature in London is 15 degrees Celsius. Ola uses this rule to convert between degrees Fahrenheit and degrees Celsius. If you don't know that F stands for Fahrenheit and C for Celsius, it doesn't matter. We can just call it degrees F and degrees C. So the rule to convert from degrees F to degrees C, you start with the temperature in degrees F or Fahrenheit, subtract 32, multiply by 0.6, and you get the temperature in degrees Celsius. Ola says it is currently hotter in London than New York. Is Ola correct? Well, let's try. Let's take the New York temperature. So we want 59 degrees Then we're going to subtract 32. Now we've got to do one step at a time on this. We're not doing order of operations, just do it the order that they've given. So we're going to have 59 minus 32, and that gives us 27. Then we're going to multiply the 27 by 0.6 to give us 16.2 degrees Celsius. Well, that is greater than 15 degrees Celsius. So it's currently hotter in London than New York? Well, no, this is the New York temperature. And this is London. So is Ola correct? No. Question 10. Joey is planting flower bulbs. 52 of the bulbs are roses. This is 1/13 of the total number of flower bulbs. How many flower bulbs does Joey need to plant in total? This is 1/13. So that means that we've got 52 and another 52 and another 52, and we've got this 13 times. So in other words, the total is going to be 52 times 13. So 52 times 13 gives us 676. Question 11. Eli has bought a fish tank in the shape of a cube with side length 30 centimetres. The instructions say to fill the tank until it is 3/4 full. How many cubic centimetres of water should Eli pour into the tank? Right, well, we're talking about a cube, so a good way to do this is to actually draw a diagram. So a cube, we're going to have a square at the front, square on the top, and a square at the side. And we know that each of these lengths are 30 centimetres. So 30 centimetres across, 30 centimetres deep, and 30 centimetres high. We want to know the volume of the tank when it's 3/4 full. Well, let's start off by working just at the volume of the whole tank. And the volume of a cuboid is the length times the width times the height. Because it's a cube, all of these are the same. And we can use our calculator. 30 times 30 times 30. And we get 27,000 centimetres cubed. Now we want 3/4 of this, so we can just do 3 divided by 4 times 27,000. We've already got the 27,000 in the calculator, so we can just multiply that by 3 divided by 4, which gives us 20,250 centimetres cubed. And in fact, in the answer box, they've already given us the units, so we can put the number in there. Question 12. The table below shows how 120 people rated a film. And we've got 10 people gave a 1-star rating, 20 people gave a 2-star rating, 30 people gave a 3-star rating, and 60 people gave a 4-star rating. That's a total of 120 people. Show this information in the pie chart below. Okay, so they've given us an empty pie chart there. So what we need to do with the pie chart is we need to work out how many degrees we've got for each of these sections. Now, I know that in a full circle we would have 360 degrees. At the moment, we've got 120 people. So we can think, well, how many times bigger is this? So what we can do is do 360 divided by 120. To give us 3. So what that means is for each of these we need to multiply by 3 to get the number of degrees. So we want 60 times 3, which is 180 degrees. 30 times 3, which is 90 degrees. 20 times 3, which is 60 degrees. And 10 times 3, which is 30 degrees. Okay. A good way of looking at this to see that we're doing it right is we can see, well, 4 stars was 60 out of 120, so they're half, and 180 is half of a circle. Okay, so we've got the number of degrees for each of our sections. Now it's up to us which order we do it. I'm actually going to start with my 4-star reviews because they're telling me that that's 180 degrees, which I know is half of a circle. So I'm just going to draw straight down here. Let's go with this side. Would be our 4-star reviews. 4 stars. Now for 3 stars, 3-star reviews, we want 90 degrees. Well, that's a right angle. So we find the centre of the circle where they'd marked it. I'm going to use one of these lines on the ruler to get that straight, and then I can go straight across. So I know that this is going to be a right angle here. So this must be my 3 stars. All I need to do now is split this section into 1 stars and 2 stars. So we want 30 degrees and 60 degrees. So I'm going to need my protractor for this bit. No, I haven't needed to use my protractor so far. I'm going to start with this being 0 degrees. So the blue number's up there. So if I put the protractor in the middle, I'm lining it up with our starting line that they gave us, and I'm going to count around 10, 20, 30. So I want a line from the centre out to here. So this is going to be my 1-star reviews. These are the 2 stars. And although I measured 30 degrees, I should, if I check this with the protractor, find that, yeah, this angle is 60 degrees. Basically, it's whatever's left. So this all adds up to 360 degrees. Okay. Question 13. Anhar is going to paint this wall. So we've got some of the measurements. Haven't got all of the measurements. Anhar knows that 1 tin of paint can cover 4 square metres of the wall. How many tins of paint will Anhar need to buy? Right, so what we want to do, we know how to work out the area of a rectangle, so we're going to split the shape into rectangles. And I'm going to do it this way. You could cut it along, or you could have one big rectangle and then take one away, but I'm going to do it this way. So the area of this rectangle, well, I know the area of a rectangle is length times width. In this case, we'll say 3.4 is the length and 5 is the width. So getting our trusty calculator, 3.4 times 5 gives us 17, and that's going to be metres squared. So for this box here, we're now going to have our area is 2.5 times 2.2. And we get 5.5 metres squared. So the total area is going to be the 17 plus the 5.5, We've already got 5.5 in there, so we can add on the 17 to give us 22.5 metres squared. Right, that's the total area. We know that 1 tin of paint can cover 4 metres, or 4 square metres, so we want to divide this by 4 to see how many of those tins of paint we need. So 22.5 divided by 4, we'll get 5.625, that's tins. But you can't buy 0.625 of a tin, so we're going to have to buy 6 tins and just have a bit of paint left over. Question 14. 735 people attend a football match. The ratio of children to adults is 1 to 2. So every time you've got 1 child, you've got 2 adults. A ticket for the match costs £24. Children receive a 40% discount. The manager says, we have made over £3,500 selling children's tickets. Is the manager correct? Okay, let's find out. So we've got a ratio question here. The clue is with the dots, and it says ratio. So I'm going to draw a ratio table. So we've got children, adults, and we've got a total. We know we've got 1 child for every 2 adults. So if that's all we had, we'd have a total of 3. But actually they're telling us we've got a total of 735 people. So we want to know how we're getting from the 3 to the 735, or how many lots of this row do we need for the 735 row. So the way we work this out is by saying 735 divided by 3. Actually, we can't see that properly, so let me do that down here. 735 divided by 3. So with the calculator, 735 divided by 3, get 245. So in other words, we're having to multiply the 3 by 245 to get 735. That means if we want to find out how many children we've got, well, we multiply that by 245. And if we want to know how many adults, we multiply that by 245. Well, 1 times 245 is just 245. We don't have to do it for the adults because they're only asking us about the children, but I'm going to do it for completeness. 2 times 245 is 490, because then I can do a check. So I can say, well, 245 plus 490 should get me to 735. So that tells me I've done this calculation correctly. So we've got 245 children. Okay. We want to know how much a child's ticket costs. Well, a normal ticket costs £24. Children receive a 40% discount. So let's do 40% of 40 over 100 times 24. This is to work out how much of a discount they get. 40 divided by 100 times 24. So that's 9.6 or £9.60 discount. So if that's the discount, how much do they actually pay? Well, £24 minus the discount gives us £14.40. So children tickets cost £14.40, and we've got 245 children tickets sold. So multiply them together and we should get the total amount of money paid for the children's tickets, which is £3,528. Well, that is more than 3,500. We have made over £3,500 selling children's tickets. Correct, you have. Is the manager correct? Yes. And one question left. Question 15. Jessie needs to replace the fence around this garden. So we've got some measurements. Again, we've got a couple of measurements missing. But we don't know if we need to work them out just yet, so we'll read the question. Jessie needs to leave a space for the gate. The fence will go around 90% of the garden. So the rest must be for the gate. Jessie thinks the total length of the fence will be more than 27.5 metres. Is Jessie correct? So what we want to do is we want to work out the total distance around the garden, so in other words the perimeter. We then only want to take 90% of it and compare that to the 27.5 metres. So to work out the full perimeter, we need to know what this distance is and what this distance is. Well, this distance is going to be the full 8 metres minus 5 metres here. Because we know 8 is all the way across, 5 is this bit, so this must be the difference. So 8 minus 5 gives us 3 metres. So that's for this length. And we want this length here. Well, we're looking in this direction. So top to bottom is 7.2 metres. Top to here is 2.8. So this must be the rest of it. So it's going to be the 7.2 metres minus the 2.8 that we've already got, which will give us 4.4 metres. Okay, so if we want the perimeter, let's start this corner. So we're going to have 7.2 plus 8 plus 2.8 plus 5 plus the 4.4 and then plus 3 metres long here. 7.2 plus 8 plus 2.8 plus 5 plus 4.4 plus 3 gives us 30.4 metres. Now there's more than one way to work out the perimeter on this shape. So if you've done it differently, that's absolutely fine, so long as you get the same answer here. Now the fence will go around 90% of the garden, so we want 90% or 90 out of 100 of this number. Times 90 divided by 100, get 27.36. Jessie thinks the total length of the fence will be more than 27.5 metres. Well, 27.36 is less than 27.5 metres. Is Jessie correct? No, they're not, because it's less. And that's the end of the question and the end of the paper. So I hope you found it helpful. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on to get updated when I add more videos, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you.